As the mayor and others mentioned, my name's Steve Smith. I'm the CEO of the Model Group, and the mission of our company is to positively transform communities. And so the first time I came here, I immediately felt at home. And I tell you why. The neighborhood that I cut my teeth in for years, as I think Mac mentioned, is a neighborhood called Over the Rhine. It's the largest collection of historic Italian architecture in the country. And so we have about 20 blocks, 20 square blocks in Cincinnati that look exactly like the Landing. And so when I came here, I just immediately felt at home. I was like, wow, I've done this before, right? I mean, I know how this works. What is particularly special about the Landing, you almost have to get outside, especially if you're from a city. Like for me, I had to get outside of Cincinnati to figure out what was so special about our historic neighborhoods. And so if you've ever been to Charleston, for instance, if you get to other cities like Philadelphia, right, the old part of Philadelphia where they had Constitution Hall in those areas, you get to parts of Chicago and New York, there is something about historic architecture that people respond to. It makes people feel a certain way even if they don't know why. And it's because it's great architecture. If it looks good after about 150 years, there's a really good chance that whoever designed that got it right. And so for me to be able to restore and preserve these buildings, but not as artifacts to be looked at in a museum, but a place where people can still come and experience the space and also be a part of the Renaissance. I don't know if I'd call it a Renaissance, but Mr. Mayor, every time I come to Fort Wayne, and I catch up usually with Kirk, it's like a 20-minute download of here's all the new stuff that's happened. It's the energy in Fort Wayne is phenomenal, and so we are really honored to be a part of it and to really just sort of plug in to what's already happening. We're more used to sort of having to fight our way into a room and explain why this is such a good idea, but the civic leadership here is fantastic. I mean, we've had 2 different bus loads of people from Fort Wayne come down and do a tour of what we've done, and a number of meetings with the mayor and staff, and so the leadership is amazing. Just want to thank Mac and the members of the Fort Wayne Downtown Development Trust, and of course the Community Foundation. Greater Fort Wayne Inc., John Bonds, and Kirk is, I don't know if you haven't spent time with Kirk, get him outside of Fort Wayne. He is the biggest ambassador for this city of almost anyone that I've met. As was mentioned before, working with Sharon and folks at the city is just, in fact, we've already spent time together at some of the conferences trying to figure out how much money can we get to bring back to Fort Wayne with us. We also, speaking about civic engagement, and one of the marks of a city that I would want to live in or I would want to be engaged in is where are the young people, and do they care about the city, right? It used to be that we figured out where I want to work, and then you would move there, right? And so millennials and maybe Gen Ys, the deal is you find out where you want to live and you move there. So we reached out to YLNI and just to have some conversations about Fort Wayne, right? Because that sort of represents a big part of the demographic that is likely to come and frequent some of the places that we want to do here. So I want to thank them for their valuable input. And Arts United, we have Zach Benedict from MKM, and I met Zach probably 5 years ago speaking at a conference where I'd never been to Fort Wayne at that point, but I said if we ever do a deal in Fort Wayne, we're using him because philosophically he understands historic architecture, he understands how neighborhoods work. So it's an honor to work with you. And we have a lot of work ahead of us. I was talking to Sharon right before this. Sharon Faison said this is going to be a lot of fun and it's going to be hard. That's what makes it so rewarding. So thank you for inviting us to Fort Wayne. And we look forward to producing an amazing product. Thank you.
Thank all of you. That completes the formal press conference for